everybody. We'll give everybody a few minutes to hop on here. I love this shirt, but you totally can't see my hair on it. My hair blends in with my shirt. Who are hopping on, definitely say hi. Love to know who is here, how your day is going, all of that fun stuff. It is warm here again today. We're in the middle of like a 3-week really hot spell, so I don't think we've had any kind of rain or any kind of precipitation for I think 2 weeks since we've had anything, so it's getting hot and dry here. Alrighty, we are going to get started. So today's training is entitled How to Attract Your Soulmates. And by soulmates, I don't just mean your potential significant other, but I just mean everybody, your soulmate friends, how to call in any type of connection that you want to have with somebody can be a soulmate if you know how to do it and if you know what you are looking for. And I did say previously this week that I am not a relationship coach in the standard sense, but really what my passion is to get you guys in touch with yourself so that when your Mr. Right comes along, 1, you will recognize him. 2, he will recognize you because you're actually being yourself. And 3, you will be in a healthy place to have a relationship where you're not sabotaging yourself, where you're not driving him away, where you are not constantly living in fear that, something is going to happen to the relationship. So I am still a relationship coach in that sense. But my primary focus is you, and getting you to live really confidently, really securely in yourself, outside of a relationship and Wi-Fi, which is ridiculous because the Wi-Fi thing is right over there. So I'm going to try turning this and moving a little bit. Hello to whoever just hopped on. Please say hi. Oh, it now says my connection is better. Oh, you got to see my total casual outfit because that's how I roll. I am wearing gym shorts. Okay, we'll see if it likes the connection better over here. So, like I was saying, my real passion is just to get you solid in who you are so that you can attract that person that you're absolutely meant to be with. And on a friendship level, to attract those friends in that just connect. So let's talk about soulmates and that word. Really what that word is implying is that you connect on a soul level. So who you are in your heart, who you are at your core, that is who you're connecting with somebody. So have you ever met somebody where you're like, have this immediate attraction to them, but the longer you're around them, the more you're like, we don't have anything in common. It was just that first initial like moment of attraction, but they don't have the same values as you. They don't have the same interests as you. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a guy. I'm sure this has happened with you with friends as well too, where you just think that this is going to be an awesome friend until you get to know them better, and then you're like, nah, not interested. And that is because you did not connect on that soul level. Although there was that moment of attraction where they seemed like they were fun, they seemed like they were a good person, and they may have been a genuinely good person, they just didn't connect with you on that soul level. And when you're talking about a boyfriend or a potential husband, you have to remember this guy's going to be around for a long time. And if you can't connect on a soul level, if you spend the rest of your life with somebody who, yeah, he treated you right and there was nothing wrong with him and he did all the right things, but you didn't really connect on a soul level, how happy are you going to be? You're going to spend the rest of your life feeling like you're missing something in the relationship, and you're going to wonder why, because he did all the right things. And with friendships, I mean, think about all the time that you spend with coworkers, that you spend with friends, even that you spend with family. And how much more amazing would that be if you guys were soulmates, if they were people that you genuinely just loved to be around because you just connected. My last job, I had probably my closest to soulmate friend I've ever had, where she was just a sarcastic, straightforward, no nonsense, totally loved to tease people. Her famous saying was, I only hurt the ones I love. So she would only say like really sarcastic, mean stuff to the people she really liked. And so if she ignored you, then it meant she didn't like you. Or if she was nice to you, it pretty much meant you were her client. Other than that, she was not overly like warm and fuzzy, which was great. She and I got along so well, and we had several people who were like, I cannot believe you two are hilarious. I had somebody warn me if I ever moved upstairs, I'd never be able to talk to anybody like that up there because I'd totally offend everybody. And so it was just great because all of my sarcastic shit, she just took and would roll with it, and she'd dish it right back out. I'd tell her I was going to the bathroom, and the only reason I had to tell her was because she had to watch my window, and she'd be like, sit your ass back down. And I'm like, no, I'm going to the bathroom. I can either go here or I can go in the bathroom, your choice. And she's like, fine. Or I'd like go on a break, and she'd yell at me to get back to my desk, or, all these crazy stuff. I'd tell her she'd be like, don't talk to me, I'm working. And I'd be like, well, it's about time. So just that sarcastic, totally like not meaning it at all. That was our relationship. It was great. And I have very similar stuff with my boyfriend. I'm not quite as mean to him because I don't think he could actually take that. But on that basic level, I can be sarcastic with him. I can roll my eyes and he's not going to take it personally. I can ask him, oh, you guys haven't seen my post because I haven't posted it. So here's a sneak peek to my blog post. I made chili spaghetti last night. And what is chili spaghetti, you're asking? It's what happens when you can't tell the difference between frozen chili and frozen spaghetti, and you mix two things together, one of which was chili and one of which was spaghetti, and you try to serve it for dinner. So yeah, got a blog post coming out about that and what you can learn from my chili spaghetti mishap. But what was great about it is he just kind of rolled with it, and later I asked him, I was like, so how was your chili spaghetti? And he was like, it was all right. And I was like, I'm actually impressed that you ate it. He's like, well, I don't complain about your cooking. I'm like, if it's legit, like there's something wrong with it, it's okay to complain about it. I really didn't expect you to eat chili spaghetti. So yeah, be watching for that post because it was pretty funny after the fact. At the time, I was really pissed at myself. But when you go into life and you hide yourself and you put on this facade and you only judge or score men, based on whether they, whether they check off all these boxes. Do they pay for he paid for my dinner and he asked me out 3 days in advance and he didn't get mad at me when I didn't text back, or he texted me a lot, which I really enjoyed, or whatever. You check off all these boxes and that's all you're judging your guy on. You're just going to end up really, really lonely. And you're going to miss out on your soulmate who may not check off all of the little boxes, but that you connect with on that soul level. And no guy is ever going to check off all the boxes. That's one of the other things you guys have to understand, is that no guy out there is perfect. He's going to screw up. He's going to mess up. He's going to goof up. He's going to be human. He's going to have different interests than you. And that's okay. None of that means that he's the wrong guy. It just means that he's human. And sometimes it might mean he's the wrong guy for you, even if he's perfectly fine. But you just gotta be watching out for those soul connections. And you've got to be yourself. If you hide, if you put on faces, if you think that you have to be a certain way in order to attract a guy, you're going to miss out on your soulmate, because your soulmate is looking for you. He's not looking for this mask you're putting on. He's not looking for the person who, does all the right things according to what your mom says or what your best friend says or what some relationship expert says. He is looking for you. You. And the only way he is going to find you is if you are being you. And so there are so many things, and I've really started diving deep into this concept of what you should be, because I think we were raised like this, at least I was, and I know a lot of people were, from the time we were born, of what you should do. You should be nice. You should be, generous. You should share your toys. You should do this. You should do that. You should do this. And then we start to think all this stuff that we were told that we should do is what we actually have to do. And we carry that over into adulthood, and we start looking for, we start Googling how should I act on a date instead of just going with who you are. And we get caught up in this trap that there's something wrong with us, that we need to be doing something different. Because that's what we were taught from the time we were young. And some of that was legitimate. We should share our toys when we're 2 and we're throwing a fit. We should get a timeout if we can't behave ourselves. But I think a lot of us missed getting taught, what is your passion? What is your true interest? What do you really think about this? Not what does mom think about, or grandpa, or aunt, or teacher. What do I think about this? And we forget to ask ourselves this. This was part of my post yesterday, that we got taught from a young age that if we think about ourselves at all, it's called being selfish. That we must always think of others before ourselves, and that's ridiculous. We spend all day, every day with ourselves. We are the ones that are responsible for taking care of ourselves. Ultimately, we have to think about what is best for us. We have to. The only way to take care of ourselves is to know ourselves. And if you go into life thinking that you need to be something different, you're never going to find that person that you connect with on a soul level. Or if you're lucky enough to find them, you risk the chance of pushing them away with all this, put-ons of what you should do. And that's why I think so many people mess things up, is that things don't go according to their internal plan. One of the things that I've realized as I look through a lot of, dating advice is that everybody out there's got a plan, that if you do, A, B, C, and D, then you're going to get, whatever, a first date, a ring on your finger. Everybody's got this plan, and yet planning is actually very masculine. For anybody who's dived deep into the masculinity, feminine stuff, you will know that there are certain traits that are considered masculine, and planning is actually one of them. It's why we like guys to plan dates. And yet everybody out there is planning their entire fucking lives from first, here's how he's going to ask me out, and here's what he's going to do, and here's the type of dates he's going to take me on, and, plan. And instead of just receiving what he has to give and allowing your soul to accept it. No, I'm not saying accepting shitty treatment. No way, no how. But ditch the plan. Let go of what you think he should be doing and go with what your soul says is right. There are going to be bumps along the way, and the only way to know if it's an acceptable bump is to know what your soul says. Because if you go out there and ask everybody every time he does some little thing that you don't think is right, 1, you're going to get 16 different answers, and 2, half of them are going to tell you to dump him, even though it's a one-time thing and he's been really good ever since then. But you're not following your soul. You can't decide what to do because you haven't looked inside of you to know what is good for you and what you can accept and what you can tolerate and what you can't accept and what you can't tolerate. You have to be really, really solid on what that is. If you're not solid on it, if you don't know what you want in life, you're never going to get it. And I know you guys have a general idea. I know that you want to be loved and that you want somebody who is going to take care of you in that, husband type role, and that you want somebody who's just going to be there. But I also know that you want somebody that's going to love you for who you are. And you're not going to get that if you don't show them who you are. Now, don't go airing all of your dirty laundry like on the first date. That is probably a little bit overboard unless that's genuinely your personality. There are some people who are like, no holds barred, here it all is, whatever. But really, that's not most of us. Most of us have a little bit of a filter there, and that's okay. But if it's important to you, it's got to come out soon. It can't be in the back burner where you'll tell them about it when you get engaged, or you'll tell them about it when you get married, or hell, you'll never tell them about it because it might just, turn him off. If he's that turned off by something in your past, he does not deserve your present, and he certainly does not deserve your future. But if you act out of fear, if you keep holding yourself back because you're scared of what's going to happen, you're always going to live in that fear. because you're always going to wonder what happens once he finally figures out who I really am. And when you live in that fear, you start pushing people away. And you don't even realize you're doing it. And you'll blame them for not, they stopped texting you, or they stopped calling you, or they stopped asking you on dates. And you're going to blame them, and you're going to say, well, they weren't interested enough. And then maybe someday it's going to occur to you that you push them away by being fearful, by being suspicious, by coming down on them for every little thing, by being scared shitless that someday they were going to find out who you were. Instead, if you just go in guns blazing, this is who I am. No, you don't get all of my secrets on the first date. You haven't earned that. But here's who I am. And you can take it or you can leave it. And if you choose to take it, just know it's going to be a hell of a ride, because I've got so much inside of me. I've got so many facets. I've got so many interests. I've got so many, things that excite me in life. Or maybe you're a chill person, and that's what they're going to have to take or leave, that you do just naturally, genuinely go with the flow, and that you're really laid back, and that you really enjoy just, having a chill lifestyle where things aren't super exciting. But if you don't own that, if you don't own your personality, if you don't own your flaws and your quirks and everything about you, you're going to continue to just keep pushing them away because you're scared that they're going to find out about it someday. Have you ever been with somebody where you just know that they're just not telling you the whole story, and how uneasy it makes you? Just knowing that you're not quite sure what's going on. When you're hiding your soul, when you are not living as yourself, you are the one putting out those kind of vibes. You are the one saying, I have something to hide. I have something I can't show you. I have something I can't trust you with. And I'm going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing until you walk away. And then you're going to blame them for doing it. When you live healthily, when you live as yourself, when you live genuine, when you know what you want, when you know what you need, when you know who you are, and you put all of that out into the world, that is what attracts those soulmates in. That is what says, here I am, love me as I am, and that is what brings those people to you. Just like when you are attracted to somebody, not necessarily for anything you can identify, you just enjoy being with them. It's that soulmate connection. And over time, it gets deeper and deeper as you allow those layers to be peeled back. But they're always part of you. It's not that you're hiding something. It's not that you're putting on a mask. It's more like an onion, only sweet and nice. Although sometimes there's some not so nice layers of us. We all have those times when we're going to be grumpy, and we're going to be uncomfortable, and we're going to be angry, and life is just not going to go the way we want it. But every layer that we pull back, every layer that we let them see, has to be the real us. Or else it's going to be like going to some masquerade ball and thinking some guy is, great looking because he has this really fancy, sparkly, whatever, full on like mask. Or you go to Halloween parties and you think this guy is so funny, and oh my gosh, you're just totally clicking with him. And then he takes off the mask and you're like, oh, it wasn't what you expected. Or here's another one where have you ever had I had this a lot at work, where you talk to somebody all the time on the phone, never actually met them. You've got this picture in your head of what they look like, and then you meet them and they are nothing like what you expected. Or you've probably had that with online dating too. I know a lot of you guys are in the online dating world where this guy just seems really great and he tells you all these things, and then you meet him and you're like, yeah, I don't know why you said you were tall, because you're 5'4" and you're certainly not an athletic build. And so when we put on this mask, that's essentially what we're doing. We're essentially catfishing people. For lack of a better term, I don't know, I've never thought of it in that term, but that's essentially what it is. When we put on this mask that says, I'm okay with whatever you do, or I don't have any preference for where we go, or, it's fine, I don't care, or everything bothers you, and then nothing bothers you, and then everything bothers you, and nothing bothers you, and you swing back and forth because you're letting that mask off and putting it back on. All of that stuff is essentially catfishing somebody. It's just a real life version of it. And you're not going to attract, and you're not going to keep people when you're doing that to them. When they first start to see that mask slip, they're going to be really concerned. They're going to wonder what's going on. Are you just having a bad day? What's the deal? Until they realize that that's really you under that mask, and that's not at all what they signed up for. And it could just be that it's a difference in, what you enjoy, that you could really be a super girly girl who really would prefer to go to a martini bar, and you've been hanging out at the sports bars because that's where you were told to go. And then all of a sudden this guy realizes you hate sports, you hate sports bars, you don't like wearing jeans, and all of a sudden he's got this girly girl in his hands and he doesn't know what to do because he thought he connected with this person who loved sports and the outdoors. Or the flip side, you're wearing dresses and heels and you hate them, but it's what you were told you had to wear. And, so this guy takes you to all these fancy places and, nice art galleries and, a 5-star restaurant and all of these nice things. And desperately, you're just longing to go camping. And when you express that to him, he just looks at you like you're from another planet because he's not a camping guy. He doesn't do that stuff. He likes 5-star hotels and, 5-star resorts and that kind of stuff. And so when you put on this mask, essentially all you're doing is just trying to get them to like somebody else and then ripping the mask off and then being frustrated because you don't understand why they don't like you anymore. So here's my challenge for you today is to identify where you're hiding. What parts of your soul, what parts of your personality, what parts of even your quirks and your flaws. I mean, hell, we all have them. And to pretend like you don't when you meet somebody is ridiculous. Because they know they're there. They're just watching to see what they are. I can't think of anybody I've met where I've been surprised when they've had a flaw. It's just who it is. It might be annoying. It might cause me eye rolls. It might even cause me to flip them off. But I'm not surprised at it. I'm not surprised that they're human. I'm not surprised that they have flaws. But when you go into a relationship feeling like you can't express them, you can't acknowledge them, you can't take ownership of them because then a guy's not going to like you, you're just setting up unrealistic expectations on both sides. When you go in guns blazing with those flaws, dude, you're running 10 minutes late and that's your personality, and he makes a comment, you can just be like, yep, that's what I'm known for. Or whatever. Trying to think. Well, I told my boyfriend on our very first date that I struggled with emotional issues. I didn't go into detail, didn't give him the rundown until we had been together for 11 months. He heard little bits and pieces over that 11 months, but I gave him the full rundown after 11 months because I figured it was time. But the very first date, I told him that I struggled with emotional issues, and it was what it was. If he wasn't going to be able to take it, I wasn't going to waste my time on him. And that's one of those ones that's, when it's up to you, as far as when you reveal that kind of stuff, that's up to you. Some people are super comfortable with it. Some people want to know right off the bat. Some people want to get to know somebody before that they reveal that information. That's totally up to you. I'm not going to give you any kind of advice on when you should talk about those kind of issues. But they do need to come up. I mean, they are something, if they're going to affect your life, then the person's got to know about them eventually. But I'm also messy and disorganized and I can't cook and all of that stuff that I have no problem telling people. That it is what it is. I'm not going to apologize for being who I am, and I'm not going to go around hiding it, because if you can't handle it, I'm not interested. So identify those things within yourself that you've been hiding, that you feel like you can't share with people, that you feel like are wrong, or that you feel shame with. Identify those issues and then take steps to making peace with them. Become friends with your flaws. Oh my God, that would be an awesome course. Oh, I'm totally going to put that together. I don't know exactly what it's going to be, and I already have my next course planned, but be well on the lookout. Becoming friends with your flaws is going to be a thing. So become friends with your flaws. BFFs with your quirks. Make peace with your past. It is what it is. It's not going away. You might as well just accept that it is there. Accept that you went through shit. Accept that you did stupid things. Accept that it is what it is. And just make peace with it. Doesn't mean you have to go around telling everybody, and it doesn't mean that you have to air out your dirty laundry to every single person you meet. But you've got to be comfortable with it. You've got to be good with it. And then start exploring where you can really start living your life as you, without the mask, without the filters, without hiding yourself from people. Start figuring out little ways, add one new thing every week, or hell, just go full on, this is who I am, take it or leave it, and see who takes it. See who connects with you on that soul level. See which guys are just drawn to you because you are exactly what they've been looking for. See what people are drawn to because that's what they want in a friend. And the people who don't want it, you don't want them anyway. You really don't. You might think you do because you're desperate, but when it comes down to it, when you really think about it, when you really search your soul, you don't want somebody that doesn't want you. As you are, full on, flaws and everything. I will talk to you guys later. Let me know what comes about for this. If you want to send me a private message, or you want to drop a comment in here, or start a new thread on what comes up for you on this. What areas you identify that you have been hiding yourself, what areas in your past or in your current that you need to become friends with or make peace with, and how you're implementing those changes, because I would love to hear about it. I will talk to you guys later. This is Janine signing off. I am your confidence mindset strategist, coach, and inspiration, because if I did it, so can you. I will talk to you guys later.